In the middle of summer, with temperatures over 40 degrees, a family was found frozen to death. The man walked over and lifted a girl's head. Her skin was soft. She didn't look like someone who had frozen to death at all. People who freeze to death usually have stiff limbs, but could it have been this heavy snowfall that took their lives? Matt and his old friend were gathered at home playing cards, when suddenly the power went out. But what was eerie was that, the moment the power went out, everyone's cell phones automatically shut off. Just then, the woman of the house ran downstairs in a panic. From the window, she saw her next-door neighbor collapsed on the street. Matt guessed the neighbor might have had a heart attack. Just as he was about to open the door to help, a loud bang suddenly rang out from outside. The driver's arm was hanging out the car window. He was clearly unconscious. Immediately afterward, snowflakes began to drift in from outside. But it was summer. How could it possibly be snowing? Just as everyone was puzzled, Reed mentioned that there had recently been a fire at a power plant in the news. These snow-like particles might be leaked asbestos. The lady of the house immediately stopped her husband and wouldn't let him go outside. At that moment, Reed suddenly remembered something and hurriedly pulled out his phone to warn his family not to go outside under any circumstances. But his phone still wouldn't turn on. Only then did everyone realize the gravity of the situation. Fortunately, Matt remained relatively calm and immediately directed everyone to seal up every crack in the house's doors and windows. But something was off with Reed. He quickly threw on a jacket, turned, and was about to open the door to go out. A friend rushed forward to stop him, but Reed shoved him to the ground. Cursing under his breath, he said he was going to find his child. But as soon as he stepped out the door, an accident occurred. From the window, the others watched as Reed walked out onto the street and collapsed straight to the ground, motionless, clearly no longer breathing. Just as the group was beginning to panic, a frantic pounding came from the basement. They followed the sound and found what appeared to be a woman calling for help. Matt moved the storage cabinet against the wall, revealing an iron door behind it. It was the door to the garage, but it hadn't been used in decades. Matt asked her through the door how she'd ended up in their garage. The woman said she was a delivery person who'd come to bring them some alcohol, and her bike had just broken down outside. After opening the door to make sure she was okay, they brought her inside. Then everyone began discussing this disaster. Just as they were puzzling over it, the man standing by the window suddenly shouted. The lights in the neighbor's house across the street had come on. Then they saw the elderly neighbor across the street pull back the curtains. The group hurriedly signaled for him not to open the window, but they were too far away for him to see them. Matt picked up the oil lamp again and waved it from side to side to warn him. But the neighbor mistakenly thought Matt wanted something from him, and opened the window anyway. In an instant, the elderly man collapsed against the window. His wife heard the commotion and ran over to check on him. But the moment she stuck her head out, she collapsed against the window and stopped breathing. This instantly sent Jock into a panic. Since his wife had a daily habit of going for a morning run, he had to rush back before dawn to warn her. His friends tried to talk him out of it, but he was adamant. Matt had no choice but to suggest making him a makeshift protective suit. Since they didn't have any professional materials, they could only layer several windbreakers over Jock, wrap his feet tightly in plastic bags. The cuffs were sealed tightly with duct tape. And finally, they gave him an old respirator mask. They weren't sure if it could block asbestos. But just as Jock was about to head out, a friend suddenly pointed a hunting rifle at him and forced him to hand over the mask. He wanted to go home too. Matt saw at a glance that the gun wasn't loaded, so he snatched the rifle right out of the man's hands. Then Jock pushed open the door and walked out. To his surprise, he didn't feel like he was suffocating. It seemed the mask and clothes were actually working. Only then did it dawn on him. This wasn't asbestos at all, it was snow. As he passed by the body of the deceased Reed, he paused for a few seconds in silent tribute, then waved to his friend at the window, and hurried anxiously toward home. The city had already descended into apocalypse. But just as Jock was passing the train station, he discovered a group of survivors inside one of the train cars.